We welcome you back to Longhorn Weekly with head coach Shaka Smart here from Plucker's West Campus location. Time for you to be introduced to our special guest, Coach.
Yeah, we're excited about having Hepa here, all the way from Barrow, Alaska.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
I have so many different ways you could go with this to start off, but Shaka, I want you to let everybody know a little bit how a guy from Alaska comes to be on your radar down here at first, and the relationship that developed between you guys over time, and how this ultimately worked out to bring him down to Austin.
Before I go back in time, talk about that, just want to say this is one of my favorite guys, just in terms of as a person, and his spirit is one of the things that attracted us to him from the beginning. He really messed up. He got 1 A- this semester, all the rest A's. So
what subject was that, Kamaka?
I think it was physical science.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's the type of intellect we're talking about. 4 A's, 3 A's, 1 A-. But super excited about Kamaka and his future here. I think he's, as I tell him all the time, he's going to make a ton of threes over the course of his career. So don't be mad about missing 1 or 2. Just keep attacking. But we started recruiting Kamaka, I think it was during his sophomore year. First time I saw him was just on a phone, which is how it works a lot now. And you see this guy, with the hair kind of flying around and making plays and making shots and just playing with great energy and again, a spirit about him that was really unique. And we saw that he's from Alaska. But he, at the end of his sophomore year, made the decision to come to Portland, Oregon. So, we started, recruiting him and talking to him. It's a great, kid to get to know and enjoy getting to know his family. And then Kamaka came to visit at the end of his junior year with his parents, and that was terrific. And then came back on an official visit early in his senior year, and we're fortunate that he chose the Longhorns.
All right, now, Kamaka, from your perspective, take us through that when you first get contacted by Texas. What's going through your mind? The fact that you were in Alaska and before you finished up your high school career there in the Portland area. What was going through your mind when you're being contacted by Texas?
Before, I didn't really know too much about Texas other than Kevin Durant came here and stuff like that. So when I first talked to Coach Smart on the phone, I was actually really surprised to get that call. Knowing Coach Smart, his track record and what he did at VCU was really big. So just being able to talk to somebody like him, but although he was kind of like somebody that I kind of looked at as kind of like someone who's a celebrity almost, it was the conversation we had was really genuine, and that kind of told me a lot about him as a coach. Just kind of like the type of vibe that he gave off to me was really good. So
with the high ratings that you were getting as a student athlete, obviously you were attracting attention from a lot of schools. Other than Coach Smart, what appealed to you about Texas, and what were your parents thought about it when you said, I think I like Texas?
I think the first, when we came down on my unofficial in June, the city was really nice. My parents came down. They liked it a lot. But, I mean, the main reason I really liked Texas was the coaching staff. Coach Horn and Coach Smart did a really great job of building a relationship with me and my family. I just felt like it was very genuine of them.
And that takes, and I'm not necessarily talking about the financial, it takes quite an investment of time to recruit a player from Alaska, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we go wherever we need to go, and we want guys that are a good fit for our program. We, as you know, a couple years ago or a year and a half ago, we tried to formalize our culture and write it out so that it's something that the guys could read and have in front of them. And as we were going through that process, obviously we talked about how that applies to recruiting, because it's way easier to recruit guys, bring guys in that fit what you're about than it is to change guys that are not about those things. So I think Kamaka is, I've always felt this way, is a great fit for who we want to be and who we want to become. As a freshman, he's learning, he's figuring things out. He's had some great moments. He's had some other moments where it's probably been humbling for him. I think as his confidence grows, you're going to see him continue to really elevate as a player.
I like to hear both of you describe what you think your role is in terms of how it is now and how it develops over time. Kamaka, let me start with you.
I feel like right now my role on the team is to, one, make shots and go out there with confidence, which is something that I'm continuing to work on, but also just bring great energy to the floor whenever I'm on there. Just kind of spark energy off the bench when the team needs it, and I think that's going to be really big for us winning. It's just the energy that I can bring off the bench.
Yeah, so one of the challenges is he like a lot of guys that shoot the ball well, he probably hangs his hat more on that than anything. You know, and when the ball doesn't go in, that can be frustrating for a young guy. We've seen that. We saw it last year with Jace.
Yep, absolutely.
But Kamaka can help the team in so many different ways. If you go back and you really analyze our Purdue game, Kamaka played, I believe, 23 minutes in that game. He went 1 for 6 from the field. He made 1 3. I think he missed 4 threes. So it's not like he was lighting it up, you know, from outside. But his energy and, you know, just the juice that he brought to our team was definitely infectious and helped us win the game. It was a close game. He made some big plays. He really does a good job moving the basketball. You still no turnovers?
I think I had one against K-State when I threw it to Jason.
I don't think somehow Scotty Mack gave that to someone else, but
I'll take it.
He's really a good passer, and again, you're going to see as his confidence grows, him continue to develop as a player and make a lot more shots.
What's the part of your game that you feel, Kamaka, that you know down inside is going to be better? And you battle the impatience thing about getting it to that point. What part of your game would that be?
I would say something that I'm really struggling with now, and something that I'm gonna work really hard to develop is on the defensive end and rebounding. And I feel like right now that's a lot. It is physical, but a lot of it's also mental, and that's something that I just need to keep working at.
Yeah.
I'm getting in with Coach Moore and Coach Horn, and just kind of working on my body, one, and then the mental aspect of it as well.
With experience, you know, the game slows down a little bit. Right now, sometimes there's plays out there where he knows what to do and he wants to do the right thing, but you know, you see this with a lot of young guys. The connection between mind and body sometimes isn't there as quickly as you want it to be. So, you know, in time, as he gets better with those things, it'll be partially because, you know, through the strength and conditioning program, he's able to continue to improve his body. But more than anything, it'll be because he's able to connect his mind a little bit more with what he wants his body to do.
Do you see that more with guys that are 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", in terms of trying to develop the rebounding skills and the rebounding game at the Division I level, that you can see it in the mind, trying to translate it to the body and to make it more instinctive?
The bigger the player, the taller the player, the more you see it. You see it some with wings, not as much with smaller guards, because those guys have kind of always had to be feisty and aggressive their whole life even to survive. But definitely with Kamaka being 6'9", and really it being a huge transition from just a level of play. I mean, Kamaka won 3 state championships in high school and, you know, played against some really good players in AAU. But this is a big jump being in the Big 12.
All right, we're going to visit some more with Kamaka Hepa coming up when we continue Longhorn Weekly from Pluckers, the West Campus location, and we'll continue in a moment. Snoop with it. Back-to-back Coleman right side. Out to Roach. Shot fake on a 3. Still on the dribble. Goes in. Spins through traffic. Missed it. And got his own follow. Roach put it home. Did a 360 spin. Got around traffic. Missed the shot. And then followed his shot. Texas within 7. 48-41. We welcome you back to Longhorn Weekly. Here from Pluckers, the West Campus location. Kerwin Roach had a nice spin move. Missed his own shot in the follow, and our special guest, Kamaka Hepa. Does he do things sometimes that still have you guys kind of wow a little bit?
Yeah, every day in practice.
You were one of the more fascinating, I think, stories of this team, and I want to give you the opportunity to let folks know a little bit more about. We mentioned the fact you living in Barrow, Alaska. First of all, for folks who don't know, Barrow, Alaska is not just in Alaska. It's at the very top of Alaska, isn't it?
Yeah. It's actually the northernmost city in the United States. So let's just say I was to get on a plane and go to Barrow, Alaska.
how long would it take me? How many different modes of transportation would it take me to get there?
So you would start by flying to Seattle, which is about a 4-hour flight. And then from Seattle, you would go to Anchorage, which is the main city in Alaska, and that's about a 3.5-hour flight. And then from Anchorage, it's a 2-hour flight to Barrow. And you can't drive up to Barrow because there's not a road system up there. There's only dirt roads up there, so you would have to take a plane.
So you would. What kind of plane flies from Anchorage to Barrow?
They actually have now, like they have like big planes or regular planes that go up into Barrow, Alaska. Yeah.
So it's not just like the seaplanes or stuff like that.
No.
Okay. Now, I know you take a lot of pride in your Inuit culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell folks a little bit about your heritage on both sides with your family.
So on my dad's side, my grandmother's Hawaiian, and then my granddad's Filipino. So that's my dad's side. And then on my mom's side, my grandfather's white. He's from Montana. And then my grandmother's from Barrow, Alaska, and she's Inuit.
Okay. And now your mom stayed back when you were playing basketball in Oregon, correct?
Yeah.
What does she do up there?
So up in Alaska, up in Barrow, she's the director of the wildlife department. So she handles kind of like the things you would see on television, like polar bears coming into town and stuff like that, and just kind of counting. Like she handles a lot of like making sure that animals up there don't go extinct and stuff like that. Because we do a lot of subsistence hunting, and she puts like a limit on how much animals we can catch just so that they don't go extinct.
I'm gathering this mental image of her standing with a clipboard down Main Street. There's a polar bear there. Okay, hi Huey, good to see you. No, it's an interesting deal because you mentioned the what did you call it, subsistence hunting?
Yeah.
And you do that, right?
Yeah, I actually do. My grandparents have a cabin about 60 miles inland of Barrow in the middle of nowhere. There's no phone service, no cable, no internet.
How do you get there? Could you drive to it?
No. Oh, well, you drive. You can take a boat or you can take a snowmobile. And I usually go. I haven't gone in the summertime, which is when you take a boat. So I usually go in May when it's when we hunt geese, and we take our snow machines down there and usually spend like a week or a weekend, depending on how long we want to stay. Don't
think I've ever asked a Longhorn football, basketball, or baseball player this question. What is the fastest you've ever gone on a snowmobile?
It depends. I would probably say around 60 to 70 miles an hour.
That fast?
Yeah. Because it's a long drive. Usually with my grandparents, now that they're kind of getting older, we like to slow down with them. But if it's just me and my brother and my dad, we'll usually make the trip in around like 3 hours.
What do you like to hunt?
My favorite thing to hunt is probably caribou, which is kind of like a deer. And what we used to hunt them is rifles. So I use my 22-250. My dad uses a 30-06, and we'll go out. We could go out of town just a little ways, but it's not as fun as going to my grandparents' cabin and hunting for caribou.
Now, for folks, I've had caribou medallions before. They're pretty good. So I imagine it's when you say subsistence hunting, you hunt for food.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah, we harvest everything that we catch. So
yeah. Do you fish much?
I personally don't, because fishing season is usually during the summertime, and for me, summertime was mostly basketball stuff, so I didn't really have the time to do any of that.
What was the level of basketball like before you went to Portland when you were playing in Barrow?
In Barrow, I mean, most of the competition up there were my friends, and we didn't, like, in high school, there's only one high school there, so we didn't really play against each other that much. But I would say it was pretty good. We had a really good group. My class, I would say, my cousin, me and him played together for a long time, so we had really good chemistry. And then my friends growing up, we were all really close, and we always played with each other, so we had a really good connection, I would say. And that really helped us. Traveling to the bigger cities and playing against some of the bigger schools, we performed pretty well. My freshman year, we won the state championship, which was actually our first in school history, so that was really big for us and our community. But as far as like the competition level goes, I would say it was actually pretty good my freshman and sophomore year while I was up there.
How far would you have to travel to play an opponent? I mean, did you have many close by, or did you have some road trips?
No, I would say our closest opponent was either this city called Kotzebue or the city called Nome, which is the other two schools in our district. And that was about an hour and a half, 2 hour flight from our town. And and those plane rides would usually be on the small jets.
So you're flying for district games, then, in other words.
Yeah. So we for one stretch of the season, we actually flew for 6 weekends straight. We would leave Wednesday, play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then come back Sunday and go to school on Monday. So we did that for about 6 weekends straight.
People know I love high school football in Texas, but you got nothing on this. I'm just going to tell you when it comes to the road. You go to Oregon for your junior and senior years.
Mm-hmm.
The decision behind that was also to kind of get better competition for you and improve your game?
For me, I feel like the biggest thing there was just kind of getting exposure. Well, for example, Texas, like they didn't recruit me when I was up in Alaska exactly, but when I came down to Portland, that was the first time they really saw me play. And Coach Horn, that was the first coach that contacted me, and then from there we just continued to build a relationship. But yeah, I would say the biggest thing was just the exposure from college coaches. Not a lot of college coaches are up there. I mean, there's two division schools up there. Pretty good programs, but as far as Division I high major schools, there aren't any up there.
Did you get many home visits in Alaska?
No.
From coaches?
There were 2 coaches that came up, and they weren't home visits. They just came to watch me work. Actually, one came to watch me work out, and then Coach Horn actually came up to at the end of my senior year.
He came up for your graduation, didn't he?
Yeah. He wasn't actually able to attend it, but he did come. And spent some time with me, though, while I was up there.
Yeah. What do you like best? I mean, this is clearly different than Barrow, Alaska. What do you like best about Austin and the University of Texas?
Austin, I would say my favorite thing about Austin is probably the food scene here. It's very diverse, and there's just a bunch of different options, and it's actually pretty close to campus. I mean, Gawad has a lot of good places, the drag, as people call it here.
You're okay without caribou?
Oh, yeah, during Christmas, me and my family met up in Portland, and my mom brought some whale and caribou back, so it was a good time.
Sounds like a whale of a good time. Hey, thanks for dropping by. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Kamaka Hepa with us here. Coming up, Coach Smart rejoins us. We have questions coming up when Longhorn Weekly continues here on the Longhorn Network and the Longhorn IMG Radio Network.